Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm Alvin King, and welcome to our show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy. I've been waiting to do this show for such a long time, and I'm sure many of you are probably thinking, model moment, what is that about? Well, for those of you who don't know, I have had a production company for over 35 years, King and I Productions.com with an S, King and I Productions.com. Please go to it and subscribe. And I have had the opportunity of working with some of the most incredible models in the world. And tonight we have one of them here. I have been waiting to do this show with her. Her schedule is just crazy, but we have her here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to share a quick story with you about how I got to meet her. First of all, a very good friend. You know, God is all over the place sometimes when you least expect. A very good friend by the name of Monique Greenwood, who is the former editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, called me to be her assistant producer on a show in New York. And I was like, oh my God, first show in New York, I'm going to do it. Didn't know what I was getting into other than producing a show. And the show was for the National Association of Black Journalists. And it was called The Soul of 7th Avenue. And they were honoring all of the top Black models and designers in the world that are on 7th Avenue. And I mean, there were models in that room that I was working with, Naomi Campbell, Iman, Sheila and Beverly Johnson, Beth Ann Hardison, Renal White, Rashid Silvera, Alvin Fernandez, Jeffrey Banks, Fabrice, Kevin Holt, and Isaiah. Some of you need to do your homework and learn who some of these people are because they are iconic in the fashion industry. But the story didn't stop there. I was also in New York at that time, booking for a show for the National Urban League. And a friend said to me, hey, I need you to meet a model. His name is Douglas Says. And I said, of course, if you say meet a model, I'm going to meet a model. And so he set up the go see, and she came to my room at the New York Hilton. And ladies and gentlemen, when I opened the door and saw that our special guest was standing in my doorway, I knew at that time that Alvin King had arrived. Okay. Clearly the only way was up. And I have been watching her in every publication that I have. Okay. This is a book called Haute Couture Collections that has every Black model that I know of in this book, ladies and gentlemen. And our special guest was in that book, and her name is Lou Celania Sierra, and she is here tonight. She has graced magazine covers. She has worked with nearly every designer around the world. She's been, inspiring models nationwide, and now she's a major runway coach to the Miss USA and the Miss Universe pageants. But she is here, ladies and gentlemen, so I cannot wait for us to bring her on set. But I said us, so I don't do this alone. You know I don't. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the He Said stage my co-host, Mr. Vash Bodhi. Vash, come on in.
Hey, Alvin.
Hey, Vash, how you doing?
Dude, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Vash, I can't complain tonight. I told you know how I've been all week.
Yes.
You know, yes.
You've been
I
looking
have
forward to
been
this
wanting
night.
this woman on this show,
Yes.
and she's here. So okay, I'm a little nervous, but her energy calms me. So so I'm looking forward to it. But how are you?
I'm doing all right. It has been just a really fantastic week in preparation for this particular show because we are so excited about having Miss Sierra on. Her energy is just so fantastic. I just can't wait to share her with everyone.
Well, as always, there are things that are happening during the week before we get to this moment of the show. And there are a few things that I just want to talk about. I don't know if you've heard or not, but the Tony Awards were announced this week. Did you know that?
I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were announced, and the big reveal, if you will, this week was all the hoopla around Jesse Williams, the
Yes.
actor Jesse Williams. He's in a play called Take Me Out,
Right.
and he has a nude scene, and I mean the whole thing just went like wildflower. I mean, just everybody was just going crazy about his private parts being exposed. And I just got a little annoyed by it, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Really? Why?
Well, I got annoyed by it because one, it's art. It is art. And before you go into that show, I know some people who have gone, before you go into that show, they tell you to put your phone in a bag.
Yes.
And so for someone to disrespect that, you know he's going to show his private parts, to me, that's a violation. And so I'm not upset with seeing it. I mean, clearly, it was the visuals, everybody who doesn't want to see a new body, but that's not what it's about for me. And so I just got a little annoyed by watching and hearing all the things that people were saying, particularly, I'm now going to go see the play.
Well, I mean, I am not sure if I've ever shared this with you, so let me share it with you now.
Okay.
Because I'm a performer. Well, I did a production of Naked Boys Singing.
Okay.
That's me on the far right.
You know what?
Giving you just a little bit. So
you know what?
I understand what it's like to be in a show where people are coming to see you because you're naked. And I also understand that whole level of respect that needs to be there, that says, leave your phone in your bag. Do not take it out to take pictures. And as a matter of fact, in our show, we had someone whose job it was to look at the audience to see if they could see anyone bringing out a camera, at which point that person would be escorted out, phone confiscated, photos deleted, and then they would just be sent on their way.
Well, yeah, and that's good. I just think that somebody went an extra yard and violated that. Well, first of all, let me unclutch my pearls right now. You just showed me that you were in a plane, and it was nudity. Okay, see, I don't know my brother. You can live with people you don't know who they are. But you know what? As always, but you are, again, sky's the limit for you. I'm not surprised, but. I just thought it was way overkill. And I actually think the person who did it, they should find out who released that, and there should be some type of criminal charges against them, because I just don't think that was fair to do, especially when you were told not to do it. And that's just my stance on it. But I just thought that was just like not right.
There should be a picture of them at every Broadway theater with bands. You can't come in and see anything ever again.
Yeah, so that piece this week kind of got annoyed to me, and I even made a post that the people who were talking about they're going to see it probably have never even been to Broadway before in their life, and so now they're going to get on a bus or train or whatever and go see it just to see a private part. And so I just thought it just annoyed me. But anyway, I'm off my soapbox for that, and I need to bring some love in the room. How you doing, Lucille? Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I don't know if you heard also this week, which completely blew my mind, a gentleman by the name of Darren Harris in Florida was on a plane, and someone got sick on the plane, and Darren, with no flight experience whatsoever, in flip-flops, grabbed that whatever and flew that plane and landed that plane. That's him on the right.
Yeah, not just anyone. The pilot got sick.
The pilot can you imagine?
Yes. I mean, it is like every sort of 70s airplane movie that we've ever seen, right? Where everyone's on plane, and then all of a sudden they announce, is there a pilot on board? Is there a pilot?
I was like, that is something. So I needed to have a feel-good moment. That right there.
Yeah.
I know that I can't even drive a stick shift car. So you talking about, somebody who grabbed a plane, and he did it with ease. He didn't stress out or anything. And the guy who was next to him in the picture is the controller that helped him land the plane. So God is good.
Can you imagine?
God is good. And so I just...
You're like, let me put down Candy Crush and land a plane.
I couldn't have done it, but I do need him as my friend. So because there's no way that I could have done that. But kudos, that was a real feel-good story for me this week. Darren, kudos to Darren, Harrison, and Robert Morgan. You guys get the he said, y'all did it award. Okay, for this week. Y'all got that. So okay. So Vash, are you ready to bring in our special guest? Because okay, I don't know why I'm so nervous, but this woman just does it for me. I mean, everything from her work ethic to how she just rips the runway, okay, to everything she does, it has definitely touched me. But ladies and gentlemen, our special guest tonight is a former supermodel and the world's leading runway expert. Lu Sierra is the official runway pageant coach for the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageant organizations. Known to many in the fashion industry as Runway Lu, she has commanded the runways for Bill Blass, Escada, Byron Lars, Mackie, B. Michael, Pierre Balmain, Yves Saint Laurent, and was the muse fit for icons like Oscar de la Renta, Givenchy, and Patrick Kelly. Her journey has landed her a featured spot on Keeping Up with the Kardashian, and as now one of the co-hosts for the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants, reaching millions of people, model hopefuls, men and women. Y'all need to be watching this today, okay, if you're considering doing that, and young women around the globe with her personality and coaching. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the He Said stage tonight, none other than Celania Sierra, and I call her Runway Lu. Hey, girl!
Hey! So happy to be here. So happy to be here.
It's
Lu,
so good to have you.
Welcome. It's so good to have you. Yes, thank you. Well, you look amazing as always.
Thank God for mom's cheekbones and makeup. There you go.
Uh-oh. Well, I got to show you something right now. You saw it probably in my intro. I did talk about my my model Bible, but I told Vash when we were backstage, I said everybody should aspire or have a dream. And when I opened this book and saw your picture,
that's wow. I need a copy of that book.
This book is in plastic in my house. It only came out tonight for the show. And
now I have Skin Deep by Barbara Summers, and I have 2 pages. And it names all the top Black models. You have to send me the title. I want you to text that. I'm going to get a copy of that immediately.
It is amazing, but you have about 30 pictures in this book because so
you know what, Mr. King, you rock my world. You come up and you just name things. Now you think I'd know that, but leave it. And before I go on, Vash, I want to say I go way back with Alvin. I hope to know you in that same way. But Alvin, for those of you who don't know, you have helped so many of us, even in your journey. And before I am remorse in my duty, I just need to say thank you on behalf of so many of us that you let us express our diva and ourself and just let us do it and not have to be that control freak. You were actually the genius that says, I'm going to hire the best at everything they do and let them ride. And I took that when I started my company. I said, hire the best. Don't go over their shoulder and examine. Hold them accountable, but let them do what they do. And that's you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Lu. Wow. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting. Okay, look. Okay. Wait. Center yourself, Alvin. Center yourself. Okay. Let me get up this interview. Thank you, Lu. Thank you. So again,
well said, Alvin. You deserve that. You deserve that, Alvin. Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow. I'm touched. again, welcome to our show.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. So I have the first question. So we're going to talk about you, and I want to know how you started your career. And I hear that you were an actress before you were a model. So I
That
want
was
to talk
my
about
first love.
how you started your career and how that helped you in your career.
Acting was my first love. And I mean, I went through the supermarket, running away from my mom, finding strangers, reciting things like this. My old man is a white old man, and my mother, she is black. If ever I curse my white old man, I'll take my curse back. If ever I curse my black mother and wish she were in hell, I'm sorry for the evil wish, and now I wish her well. But my old man, the white one, he died in a fine big house. My black mother died in a shack. Wonder where I'm going to die, being neither white nor black. That's Langston Hughes. And when I was young, I would recite anything for anybody. It wasn't until much later when modeling started to really pay off in Paris and New York started taking account, saying, you know what? You're a decent actress. We want you. I had to make that decision because Paris Fashion Week and Italy Fashion Week and Tokyo, we knew those dates. Callbacks for TV shows and movies would happen whenever. And my agent got livid that I was missing a lot of castings. But the determining factor, to this day, I don't know of any 6 feet tall Black actress except me that's out there. And it was always a height thing. Directors would say, Lou, we love you, but notice everybody in the background only comes up to here on you. So we just can't use you for the lead role. I had a very successful director beg me to stop acting. He said, you are so good that you're going to grow into a very angry actress because you should get all the parts you want, but your height is something that you can't fight. And on that note, Alvin, I know I'm jumping a little ahead. I think it's so ironic that God now allows me to be that voice to talk to girls who want to pursue modeling, and it's the height.
It's the height.
I think God just has a way, because I think young people especially don't want to hear, this is what I think you should do. I think they want to hear, this is what I did.
Right.
This is how I handled it. And it's so ironic now I'm in that position to say, sweetheart, it has nothing to do with you. To be a high fashion model, you have to be 5'9". Well, Lou, they haven't seen me, sweetheart. The clothes are already made. They have a fit model. Right. They can't have somebody who 5'2", 5'7", 5'8", 5. So now I get to be that person. But yes, acting was my first love.
Wow.
So then how did you transition? Because you were with an agency in New York modeling. I guess you also had an acting agent. What was that transition?
It was very hard, but Paris started to really pay off. When Givenchy said, I want you here, I want to make the clothing on your body before the show, and allowed me to really take a part in that, I had to make an executive decision. And there were a lot of people who thought I was a little crazy. But in my brain, I wasn't going to start one maiden career for one that was really starting to pay off. So I made that decision and just stayed in Paris and in Italy, worked in Tokyo, and was very successful in Germany.
So then how did you get from New York to Paris?
It's very funny. At the age of 17, I graduated high school early. And my mother was very upset. She thought it was to go to college early, but it was to move to New York early. She actually didn't speak to me for quite some time when I chose modeling over pre-med career, because I couldn't decide whether to be a scientist, I know that sounds crazy, or a model. But once I came to New York, I finally got an agent, but they cornered me into showroom modeling. Again, I now get to tell girls, agencies have different caliber of models. They have girls who do the car shows and the hair shows, nothing against them. Then they have girls who do showroom for the designer. Then they have their stars. And all can make a living. There is nothing wrong, but you have to know what you want. And I got pinpointed into showroom. And I got very upset one day with my booker. Her name was Betty at Zoli. I don't mind saying it now. Betty, wherever you are, I love you, girl, like a play cousin. I said, Betty, why aren't I doing the fashion show? She said, because you're a showroom model. I said, well, I want to do the show. She said, be happy. You're making a lot of money. You're where you're supposed to be. Came home, called my dad. He said, baby, who decides who does Fashion Week? I said, well, everybody kind of looks to Paris. He said, then why you don't go to Paris? And I went, hello. So I paid my rent in New York for 6 months. I paid so much Con Edison, I think they thought I was crazy. But to those models who are listening, what I want you to get from this is I had a plan. You don't just go and you don't have a plan. I also took well over 10 grand with me because I didn't want to stay in a model's apartment. I'll find a tiny little hole. It would be my hole because I'm going to get up and go on castings. I'm going to get rest. I'm going to exercise. So I went to Paris, and really quick, because you'll love this. I landed at 6 a.m, had a list of the best agents. Marilyn Gauthier, love you, Marilyn. I went straight to Marilyn Gauthier. The bookers were saying, well, she's kind of fat, but we need a black girl, but she's kind of fat. And
excuse me, what was fat?
American size 8.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep. American size 8. And they were like, but we need somebody for Balmain right now. Marilyn came out of her office just to hear what all the talking was. She looked at me. She called me in her office and she said, do you model professionally? I said, yes, I'm with Zoli. She said, let me see your portfolio. I said, I don't have one because I'm a showroom model. She said, then you're a liar. And we are so pissed that you girls coming over here lying. I said, Marilyn, I'm not lying. You can call. She gets on the phone. Bonjour, Betty. Bonjour, comment ça va? Oh, bonjour, Marilyn. How are you? Betty, we have a young lady here named, and my heart stopped because I need you to remember, Betty threatened me. She told me not to pursue anything than what I was being given. Okay. And she was very clear. And I said, Betty, it's Lou. And this was her response. Marilyn, you can send her back to New York. You don't even have to worry about it. And then Marilyn said, wait a minute. If she's telling the truth about that, is she telling the truth that she does major showrooms and pulling in major money? Well, yeah. Is she telling the truth that she works every day solid? Well, yeah. Marilyn said, I called you begging you for African-American girls who could walk, and you're sitting on her and you wouldn't send her? Marilyn, there's a diamond in front of me. It's a little rough right now, but I'm going to polish the diamond. The problem is the diamond won't be coming back to you. Yeah. And Marilyn kept me there. And it's so funny. She said, Lou, I need you to go to Balmain, but you're overweight. I said, just send me, Marilyn. Just send me. I walk in, guys. I walk in, and every model I had ever dreamed about was sitting there. There was Katusha and Alva Chen, and I mean, just you name it. Everybody, and Fiona, just all the top black girls, Rashumba, all the girls. And I was sitting there, and for a split second, I said, what the heck? Then something hit me. They in the waiting room like I'm in the waiting room. Casting like I'm on a casting. And this is the best part. One of them, the madame came out to get our portfolios. And remember, I didn't have one. Right. She said, I need your portfolio. And I said, oh, excuse-moi, madame. I'm so sorry. The agency should have told you. My portfolio is at French Vogue. I'm being considered for a cover.
Yes.
She said, attendez. Now, if you're going to lie, you got to go through with your lie. So right. I took my heels off, put my flats back on, went to put my coat back on. And all the other African-American models looked and laughed under their breath because they knew if French Vogue was looking for an African-American girl, they would have known about the casting. They knew. So they all looked and they're like, oh, we got a real one now. Oh, we got one. Oh, we got. So the madame came out and said, you wait. we're going to try an outfit. My brain went, gotcha. So one of the models looked at me and said, what's your name? I said, my name is Lu Celania. My friends call me Lu. And she said, well, Lu. And I said, no, 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 no. Only my friends call me Lu. You can call me Lu Celania.
Girl, see, that's book material right there. Okay, that's book material. Thank you for sharing that. And see, this takes me to my next question, though, Lou, because you have such a high level of professionalism and work ethic. What part of your family upbringing helped to build the character and showmanship that you have?
All of it. All of it. I had a father who did not do late. And I mean, didn't do late in a way that it would be physical harm to you. He did not. When he said, we're leaving at 6, you were in the car at 10 to 6. You weren't even walking out the house at 6. You don't seem to get it. I had a mother who strived for excellence in education. It was not an option. Now, I will tell you, she had a big reward system. I could model, I could take acting, I took ballet lessons, I took tap. She kept us busy. She encouraged the things we loved to do. But education was very, very important. I had an aunt who nourished my modeling so much that she started a modeling organization called Boss Models, just so I could travel with her and be in charge of the casting. At 12, I was choosing all the models. It was like an ebony fashion fair. And I was choosing the models and training them. So I just had an entire village that nurtured. And I want to say, Alvin, again, people like you really help me when I see the example of what I want to be moving forward. I look at people like yourself and I take away, what does he do? I never see you late. I never see you unprepared. All of those are non-options. And I don't mind saying, and I think Marae will agree with me, sometimes I can be hard on those around me. I can. And I'm learning to be quick to apologize. I am. If you start talking about I'm sorry. And then how can I change it? But all of that is growth. Amen.
Yes. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Well, when you have a vision, it is, you have to be able to communicate and convey that vision, bring people on board and get them to help you execute it. So I understand. Being able to apologize is beautiful.
Yes. Yes. So, Lou, I'm going to go here because I have some fashion history that I want to share with everybody. First of all, let's say hi to some folks that are on here. Hi, Sean. Hi, Monica. Bobby Edwards is on here. Oh my God, Bobby is a longtime supporter of my fashion shows. He's been to everything that I've done since I was 12. Thank you, Bobby, for being here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bobby.
Again, hello. Thank all of you for being here tonight. Lou, we were talking earlier about, some of the models that you met in the, while you were coming up. I want to take our guests on, give you a little history lesson. Are you familiar with the Battle of Versailles, Lou?
But of course. Are you kidding me? I'm just mad I wasn't there. I'm just mad I wasn't there, baby.
Well, I want to share with our audience and our viewers the Battle of Versailles. Now you can Google this and see because there's a documentary on it.
Yes.
But on November the 28th, 1973, in the Palace of Versailles in Paris, they had an event to raise money for the restoration of the Versailles. The show was pitted toward French designers, Yves Saint Laurent, Pierre Cardin, Emmanuel Ungaro, Marc Bohan, Hubert de Givenchy, against the American designers, Oscar de la Renta, Stephen Barrows, Halston, Bill Blass, Anne Klein, who brought her assistant, Donna Karen, at that time. And each of the American designers, the Paris designers said, well, let us show sportswear to get our designers across. All the designers had to pick 8 models. And the American designers picked, 11 models. And the American designers picked 11 Black models, which was unprecedented.
Yes, Billy Blair and Pat Cleveland were there, and of course Albert Chin. Yes.
All of them were there. And ladies and gentlemen, please Google the documentary. But in 2011, the Huffington Post Game Changer Awards, they honored these African-American models who went over to Versailles that Lou just mentioned: Pat Cleveland, Beth Ann Hardison, Billy Blair,
yes.
Albert Chin. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on that moment in fashion where it just opened the doors, in my opinion, for Black models?
There were things that, again, you got to watch the documentary. For example, we were allowed to bring things to put on the stage. And I mean Americans, we were allowed to bring backdrops, and somebody got the centimeters wrong. So all of our backdrops showed up miniature, and the French brought horses with carriages and all that kind of stuff. So we had to lose all of our backdrops. But the French models would walk as if they're doing showroom with a card, and then walk back and walk back. And all of a sudden, the Black models came and they were spinning and taking off coats and posing and spinning and not running into each other. They had all practiced that they would take times. And it was something like a well choreographed, just Broadway show. And I might add, at the end, the American models got the standing ovation. We didn't, I mean, the French actually had real horses that came out on carriages and crazy stuff. And we had nothing but real divas.
You have to see it.
The end, baby. We took over after that.
It was a moment for African-American models, ladies and gentlemen. And even, let me move over. See that picture right there, Josephine Baker that's behind? Josephine Baker was even in the audience.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, Josephine Baker was in the audience at that event. And so it was just amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, but, thank you, Lou, for sharing that. We're going to, in between our interviews, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you a piece of Lou. So join us as we show you her first clip, What is Glamour?
Glamour. It makes you feel special. It makes you stand out in the room. And above all things, be comfortable when you're in it. That's your exact glamour style. Here's mine.
All right now. Thank you, Lou.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Something about you. You just have this thing about you. I don't know what it is. But why did you get into coaching? Did you get into coaching to share that?
It was strictly accidentally. One of my friends who was a professional model would get the casting, get the call back, and not land the job. And one day she said, Lou, you got to help me or the agency's going to drop me. I'm booking enough jobs for them to keep me. So I watched her fine-tune thing, taught her how to do a swimming pose, taught her some turns, worked on her walk. She started landing all these jobs. Our booker at our agent said, what are you doing differently? She said, Lou is helping me. Our booker called and said, Lou, we have a proposition for you. We want you to train the new girls that are coming from Europe, but please remember, you're going to be going up against them. You're actually going to be going on castings against girls you train, but we will pay you. Is that all right? And I said, baby, send them my way, because I can teach you to walk all day and you'll never walk like I do. I try to tell girls that when you bring your own style to something, we can all do the same turn. Our faces are going to be different. Our body angles are going to be different. So then the famous photographer who I love, Fidel Barishna, was working as the official photographer for Miss Universe and Miss USA. And former President Trump asked him, who can train my girls? I need somebody that when you turn on the TV, you think you've turned on a fashion show. And he and I worked together a lot. And Fidel said, you know what? I think you should interview Lu Sierra. And when he had me in, he and Paula Shugart, they said, what would you do differently? And I gave them my spiel on turns and not having the same face and really taking the runway to the pageant world. They said, you're hired.
Wow.
So that's how I got into that.
Wow. So what have you learned in doing all of this?
Oh my God. I've learned that we continue to grow. I've learned that if you follow your passion, the finances will come. I've learned that we each have a ministry. We each have a ministry. We each have some talent that you have that you can share with others, because I believe life is about a family. We really are. And each family member has a talent. And if we all do our talent, we'll be successful. So that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning. And the girls keep me young.
Yeah. Well, Lu, of course, with every piece of greatness, there comes challenges. What are some of the challenges that you face while you were starting or becoming a coach?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. Can I just say on a side note, if you read the Bible at all, the enemy comes to take your joy. That's their entire job. Yeah. So you have to talk back and say, no, I'm not having it. This is what I meant to do. And gentlemen, let's I think we can all agree on this. It's darkest right before the light. Right before a little light. So if you give in, you'll never know. I love what my friend Steve Harvey said. He said, one thing for sure, if you give up, you'll never make it. That's for sure. Now, whether you make it or not is really no one's business and entirely up to you. But I would just say there are those who wanted to put me down. There are those who said it would be too difficult for the girls I'm teaching, which I broke it down and made it very easy. And now there's a whole different set of problems, Alvin. I have people who I'm bringing lawsuits who say they're my assistant on the West Coast, and I never taught the person. And they're using my name. Oh, I used to tell the ladies, please video me doing the turn so you can practice it later. Someone went home, took all of it, made a DVD, and started selling it.
A whole new form of catfish. A whole new form of catfish.
So it's always going to be something. Don't give up. Yeah. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
That's good advice for everybody. So, you know, in being who you are there any other women of color who are coaches, Lu?
There are. There's a wonderful female interview coach, a woman of color. And I think there are other women, but Alvin, I can honestly say, I don't know them. I go out of my way. When a young lady sits in front of me, first thing I say is, sweetheart, I'm a devout Christian. And the only thing that means is I'm not going to lie to you. That's all that means. I'm not here to preach or anything. And second, please don't ever tell me about another coach you worked with. But that's to guard my heart, because there are coaches telling girls to do some crazy things. And I get very defensive with my babies. And I'll see another coach and say, why are you telling girls to do that crazy stuff? And I don't want to have to do that because that's not my business. But I do. I feel like very upset. Do you know what I feel like? And by the way, top models used to crucify pageant girls. If I tell you how we used to joke about pageant girls, because quite honestly, pageant girls want to be models. Models don't want to be a one-year job, which is a pageant title holder. Right. Now, my whole world has changed. I have seen girls with that level of confidence I can give them in interview, go on a job interview and land the job. Go on a college interview and land the job. I have seen where I teach girls how to stand in a photo or how to walk in a room and not focus on other people, but say, Everybody I see, I have to say what color their eyes are, because then you really look in somebody's soul. Say when you walk in the room, I'm going to give out 5 cards and take 5 business cards. I teach them to think like a boss lady, because that's what's needed in the pageant world. A lot of people got very twisted. It's not the best walker. A pageant title holder makes money for the company. The way she makes money is 1, posting, pulling in other girls, and 2, speaking. That's how she makes money. She doesn't get paid to model. So the 2 things they need is somebody who can rip apart a photograph and know how to post well. That means has different looks. You may have noticed you've shown the cover photo, the little segment you did, and what I look like today. Every time you see me, I'm going to look different. I got to keep you on your toes.
Amen. I'm going to say amen. Okay. Yes, you have. You metamorphosize. Okay. Every time I see you. So no, truly. And anybody who knows Lu the way I know Lu, and when I say know Lu, you guys follow her, you see her, you hear her, you know that she brings something different every time you see her. So you are so on point and right about that. So thank you. Thank you.
I kind of have, if I could ask a follow-up question to what we were just kind of talking about. So how do you coach someone who comes into your space and it's just like, look, I have a good signature walk. I have a good side I can give you in a wink. What do you tell someone who's got that?
Are we talking modeling or pageantry?
Let's talk modeling.
Okay.
Because we already talked to those girls don't make no money unless they model.
So first, I have to agree with that walk. Let's just say that you might think you have a good walk. Then I'm going to start with your photographs, what agent we should be aiming for, commercial print or high fashion. Wow. How old are you? Because quite honestly, if you're of a certain age, you already have to start in the classic woman division, because agencies see you as it takes 3 to 4 years to develop you, because they want your portfolio to grow. And on that note, everyone watching, a portfolio is not a book full of pictures you paid for. A portfolio is a book full of work.
Preach. Come on.
So please don't let anyone tell you they're going to buy you a portfolio. That is going to take you in, get you 3 pictures, and you start going on castings.
It's not on your phone, right? It's not on your phone, right?
No. And now the top models have their photos. They don't carry portfolios. They have their photos on their iPad. But I just want to say, modeling is going in a weird way, Alvin. It really is. Commercial print now, there are the digital models that are not even real. They're being used for cosmetic ad. The girls all went up. There's a very famous cosmetic line that just used the digital model. So it wasn't even a real person. And they're starting to develop holograms. They're doing holograms where they're trying to do it on a runway where it's just the clothing and the press walks around and just looks at the clothing and the hologram. They're trying to do it in showrooms where, dig this, Alvin. The buyer comes in, presses a button, and a hologram comes out and says, "Hi, I'm your showroom model, Lu. Press in the style number from the style book, and I will put on any outfit you want." And let me tell you what's extra special. Put in the measurements of your ideal client right now. Maybe in China, they're a little smaller. Maybe in LA, they're a little bigger. Put your ideal measurement in now, and I will become your client. So you can see what the clothing looks like on your clientele. And really good news, I don't need a lunch break, and I don't care about overtime. Let's get started.
Wow.
So yeah. I hear people, that sounds like some people are, well, I don't want to say it, but models are not getting work. I mean, if you're using hologram, who's working?
I'm just saying, moving forward, it's all very scary. I mean, Alvin, let's be honest. If someone wanted to be a telephone operator right now, you would tell them that's a good business, or is
Right.
everything technical? If somebody wanted to open up a bookstore for the first time, you'd say there's a future in that, or you would say, girl, magazines and books are online. That may not be something that's growing 10 years from now. I'm just saying it's very uncertain and scary.
Well, can this be applied to male models as well, Lou? Because I know we're talking about female models, but I also want to stress to our audience that some of what you're talking about right now, you're talking about what goes on in the industry. And it's, you know, aspiring male models need to listen to what you're saying, because it's just as important to them as it is to female models. It is
I
across the
think they
board.
should have a plan B. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I believe, Alvin, when you're young, you should pay your dues.
Right.
Pay your dues could be college.
Right.
Maybe if you're a stylist, you work for a famous stylist. And then 5 years down the road, you can go to Vogue and say, remember me? I used to return clothes for such and such. I'm on my own now. Then you can go to NBC and say, hey, I know my boss used to dress such and such, but I'll take half the price and I'm just as good. So there are a lot of ways you can pay your dues. And then by 24, we should be putting some money in a savings account. The young ladies I mentor, I say, what are we saving for? Because I need you to buy something by 30. I don't care if you're married to a millionaire. Call the condo your shoe money that you use to rent. But if I mentor you, we have a plan. And that plan is purchasing something so you own a piece of a rock that you're not paying rent at 60 and 70.
Wow.
Right on.
Well, Lou, I'm going to change gears just a little bit, because I want to make mention that because you have worked with so many winners, you know, in the Miss USA, in the Miss Universe, and on the whole circuit, in January of this year, the pageant world lost one of your winners, Miss USA, Chelsea Chris. Was she someone that you coached as well?
Now, I did not coach her personally. I can coach girls before they go to USA or before they go to Universe. I did have the pleasure of working with her at Miss USA. So just to be clear, there are 51 contestants that go to Miss USA. Any of them can come to me before they win their state or while they've won their state. But I don't coach all 50. They don't have to come to me. I did not have the pleasure of working with her before. I wish I had. But I did work with her at Miss USA and at Miss Universe. She was there. That was the Miss Universe we did in Tyler Perry's studio in Atlanta.
Yeah. It was a very sad day and just a very sad circumstance. And so it touched me. And I thank you for allowing me to ask you that question, because it just really touched me in a different way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show another clip by Lou, stepping out of your comfort zone. Take a look.
Do you want to broaden your horizons? You want to grow? Then step out of your comfort zone. Might be a little scary, but it'll be worth it.
Quick side note, that was with that dress on, because anyone that knows me knows leopard is not my favorite. I hired a stylist. Blair Barishna is one of the most incredible stylists. I hired him to bring clothing, and he made me wear that dress. That was not something I owned. I think the only leopard dress I've ever owned, and I've worn it to shreds, was a Douglas Says. Alvin and I have a mutual friend, Douglas Says, and he made me a leopard dress. Other than that, you won't see me in any kind of animal print. So that's why that was funny.
Well, another plug to your testament on that note, though, you can wear a potato sack. And see, that's where the professionalism comes in. You put the dress on. Had you not told us that story? Do you agree, Vosh? Would you have known that she hates leopard print?
Not at all. Not at all. Because you rock everything you wear. I mean, it's just amazing. Yes.
The job of a model is to sell clothing. I don't get to say what I like or the look I like or anything of that nature. Once in Japan, Kenza Yamamoto put egg white, raw egg in our hair, blow dried it, and it smelled and it looked like dandruff. And we had no makeup on, and we had to sell $10,000 evening gowns. And you had better never open your mouth to say, "What are we doing?"
Because someone has a vision.
That's his vision. And that's where a lot of women make the mistake. And I was never going to open my mouth. If it's your vision, I'm a rocket to the core. On that note, I asked the designer once, I said, "Can I ask you something? Why do you give her the best outfit, the ones you know the press is going to love, and you give me these things?" And he said, "Lou, because you can sell anything and it's not my best garment. I need you in it."
And you were like, "Well, okay then."
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Since you put it that way. Okay.
Said that.
That is hilarious. Well, Judy has come into the feed and she thanks us for talking about Miss Chris, and also says that this segment seems I don't know what she's saying about the substance, but I think that Lou is giving us such an incredible journey into what it means to capture your joy, be the best you possible, and spread that love and joy around. Speaking of, you've coached like the Kardashians, and you've served as a runway coach on Rip the Runway. What kind of stories can you tell us about coaching celebrity pie?
Well, I want to say kudos to Kim Kardashian. She was one of the kindest, nicest, most genuine. And I actually came home and had to repent because I had made up my mind, like so many people do, on what somebody is like before I met them. She was the most gracious I can ever explain to you. And again, I saw a true boss lady. I'm not surprised why she is where she is and who she is. I'm not. She was the utmost professional, on time, strong, courteous with everyone, the cameramen, the hair and makeup people. Just, it was a pleasure to be around her.
Wow. Yeah. Well, she definitely, I mean, I see Kim, honestly, as someone who has her game face on all the time. And by that, when you have your game face on, you're aware of everything that's around you. And so I don't know her like you know her, but you have just confirmed my my intuition about working with someone like Kim Kardashian. So yeah, she definitely knows how to play the game, and she plays it very well.
Yes,
so,
she does. Yes, she does.
She plays it very well. So, Lou, I want to ask you, but before we let you go, for those of you who don't know, Lou is the first model of her status ever that I know of that has her own app called Modelversity.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us about the app, Lou, what it does, how people can get it?
It's on Android or iPhone. It's a one-time fee of only $4.95. It gives you encouraging moments. It talks about runway. It talks about wardrobe. It talks about how to make a great impression on an interview. I'm very, very, very happy. And it's so funny, Alvin. Again, it came about by a mother who lost the notes when her daughter was coming to me and said, "Lou, listen, we can't keep up with these pageant notebooks." And I said, "Well, what would you like me to do?" And she said, "Get an app that all the notes are for the girls who work with you. So there are no videos showing you how to do turns, because $4.95, let's get real. But I do all the turns in the walking section. I give you notes on how to pose. And again, it's an uplifting, it's encouraging for girls who need that. A lot of girls right before they go on the stage will go through it and just do a checklist. I'm very, very, very happy about, and it's called Lou Sierra, or you can put in Modelversity, like Modeling University. And before I forget, Anyone. I work with everyone. I work with models, female models. Matter of fact, I was the one that found the male model and Beyonce to the left, everything you own in the box to the left. Yes, I worked with him at a modeling seminar and I told him he was in DC. I said, if you get to New York within the next 7 days, I'm going to help you become a star. And every time I see him, he doesn't let anyone forget that I really helped him. So I work with anyone. My website or my company email is aloopinternational.com.
Oh, do me a favor and spell that for me, please. Say that again. A loop?
ALUP, Aloop International, and spell out international.com. And Alvin, on that note, one of my mentors taught me if you're going to have a company, and mine is a legit company, put your name in your company. So a loop stands for a loop production. Hello. Don't forget it. Later, I'll say it. Oh, yeah, Loop Production. That's it. A Loop International. Feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to work with you.
I can tell you that there's a lot of truth in that because I'm now doing some work with the company in New York that have hired me for some gigs called Glow Events Company, and the CEO told me, I've known her for years, and she told me, she says, Alvin, you were the first person to brand yourself. She said, you don't know, you did branding 101 with King and I Productions. She said, and you still use it to this day. She gave me, that was the biggest compliment that she told me. And to me, I just wanted to make sure that I had something that included people in what I did. That was my whole concept. So the I is everybody who works with me. Never even gave it a thought about how catchy or anything. I wasn't even looking at it from that perspective, but she did give me that. So there's truth in what you said. Put your name in it. It can go a long way. Okay.
And I'd also like to mention, I now have a permanent second location, as well as New York. I am permanently now in South Carolina. My company just opened up there 4 months ago. We have a headquarters. And of course, I work internationally. I just had my Miss Singapore win. There's just so many. I would love to say in 10 days, I am hosting the red carpet in Washington State for the GBAs, which are the Global Beauty Awards. It's my 3rd year. I'm doing the red carpet. And Alvin, I'm in negotiations to be part of the first official Africa Fashion Week. I'm going to do the casting and train 50 girls. We're doing 4 shows a day for 7 days. And we're trying to work out the logistics with me doing that. So there are some incredible, I'm hosting the two new biggest pageants. America's Ideal Miss. I'm hosting that the end of July in Atlanta, the national pageant. And I'm hosting Volunteer America. That is the pageant that's taking over the Americas and everything, because you get full college tuition. You get 4 years university paid. Wow. Or your student loan paid. Yes. So that's some of the stuff that's just coming up in the next 2 months. I am so excited.
Wow.
Well, I was going to ask you what's next, but you just went on and gave us that. She gave us that box, so I was going to ask you. So look, we're nearing the end of the show, but before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to play this last clip by Lou before we close the show out, called Trends, and then we will thank Lou for joining us tonight. If we could, please.
Trends can be fun. Remember, you can dib and dab, make it your own, take something from here, take something from there, but as long as when you put it together, it's uniquely you. That's a trend.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's give a round of applause to our special guest, Lou Celania Sierra. Lou, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my God.
Oh, Alvin, I'm so proud of you and just so happy. And Vosh, thank you for having me on. I love this show. You guys have given me ideas. So yes, I might steal it. That's all I'm saying. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we got to get you guys syndicated. We got to send this to somebody because you should be on. You guys work very well together.
Lou,
Let's remember Norman. Norman is our production person. And let's remember my
make sure that we include
Ray, who has worked very hard because it takes a village to put on a show.
Yes, it does. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we go out, I want to give you, first of all, next week on May 20th, we have another very special guest. Her name is Cy Smith, singer, songstress, and songwriter. She's performing here next week in DC at the DC Winery. She will be on the 22nd. She will be with us on the 20th to talk about her show and to talk about Cy and what's going on with her. And I want to leave you with our words of the week this week. You may not have the power to control whatever happens to you, but you have the power to stop it from affecting your sense of style. And that was by Israel Moore Abivor. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And if there's anybody that we didn't holler at tonight, Vash, holla, y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week on our new episode of He Said.
He said.
He said.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a great night. Lou, thanks again for joining us. God bless you and everything you're doing, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.